All right, it's the Mutua Madrid Open, men's and women's big Masters 1000 tournament, and we're going to break down the draws right here. We're going to break down the ATP, lacking Djokovic, lacking Nadal, craziness on that end. We've got Carlitos coming in as the hot, biggest, best player on tour in the moment right now. And as we determined in the last video, probably the French Open favorite going in. He'll be playing, as well as Tsitsipas, the rest of the next-gen crew. And then on the women's side, we've got Swiatek coming off a pretty dominant win in Stuttgart, wearing the new threads in with on, winning again there in Stuttgart. So we'll take a look at the draws in what I would call the worst stadium in tennis, with the just ridiculous shadows that you can't even watch. But we'll try and watch. We'll try and cover the tournament, and we'll be battling the shadows the entire time. Here's the slice. Let's get into it, breaking down the Mutua Madrid Open draws. All right, people, how you doing? How are you doing? Welcome back to the show. Thanks for being here. If you have not yet, help us out and smash the subscribe button. And the slice is presented by Coolbet. If you have not yet, if you're going to responsibly and respectfully bet on tennis and get in on the action, join Coolbet, who is our official sports book. The link is below. There's two ways you can get some free cashola to play. Sign up, put a deposit over $10. Any deposit that you make, if you use the code THESLICE, will double. So if you put in $50, you'll actually get 100. 100, you'll get 200. It goes up to 200 because they can't give you too much. But then if you actually DM us on Instagram, we'll send you a code to just get an extra free $50. So if you want to have fun getting in the game, I've been placing some bets on Coolbet. It's a fun way to pay attention to the tennis more because you got a few bucks on the line. So if you're into that, join us down below. The link is below, and subscribe, of course. But let's get into it. Madrid Open draw. We got Carlitos and Stefanos coming off the final in Barcelona, where if you watch the video that I made recapping the tournament and the final, it really wasn't close. Really, Carlos showed that when he's playing like that, maybe he's in a bit of a league above almost everyone else. And the sad thing is, so far in 2022 or 2023, as you know, we haven't had Djokovic and Carlos playing the same tournament yet. And it's almost May. It'll be May before they play in the same tournament. Absolute shame. Criminal from the tennis gods. Yeah, not cool in my opinion. So I cannot wait to see both Djokovic and Carlos play in the same tournament. But for right now, we all got to agree that Carlitos is the man to beat. So let's take a look at the ATP draw first here. And yeah, Carlos is obviously on top as the number one seed. Could play Ruusuvuori or Humbert next. Actually, a little bit, both those players can be tricky for sure. And then he's got Barrera or Dimitrov after that. And then Sebastian Korda back in the lineup, which is good to see. So Carlitos could play Zverev in, what is that, the round of 16, which could be saucy. Zverev, he's got some crazy quotes these days. We saw the drama in Monte Carlo, and it would be interesting to see, I think, the most informed player going against, a guy who used to be right at the top. And last year, Carlitos and Zverev played in the final in Madrid, and Carlitos absolutely wiped him. So that would be interesting. There'd be some extra stakes in the line there, you would think. Karen Khachanov in the top half there as well. You got RBA in the top half. Shioka, Andrei Rublev. I think that's in the same quarter. Yes, same. Yeah, in the same quarter as Carlitos, which could be interesting. So in the same quarter, we got Rublev and Carlitos. So Rublev won Monte Carlo. Obviously, Carlitos didn't play Monte Carlo, and he won Barcelona. So that would be a crazy matchup in the quarterfinals if they were to meet. Casper Ruud, who's been friend of the show, who's been absolutely having a tragic 2023 season, is going to look to get some wins under his belt. He'll play either Per or Arnaldi in this first match. And he's got Greek Spoor or maybe Kakanakis or Munar. Every match seems losable for him. And then he's playing PCB, or Musetti, who's been in great form in like the round of 16. So that's just not getting any easier for our friend Casper Ruud there. Casper the Friendly Ghost. And then he could play Holger Rune in the quarterfinals, which honestly right now it would seem like Holger Rune is a favorite. But popcorn match alert, if that were to happen, wouldn't that be nice after last year's French Open? That would be crazy. Then we got our guy, Felix Auger-Aliassime, to lead off the bottom half. Felix Auger-Aliassime. He could play Lajovic, who just came and obviously won in the Balkans. I forget where exactly. Disrespect, I know. Disrespect. Banja Luka was the town name or the city name. Then he could play, Felix could play Ben Shelton, who's a seeded player here in Madrid in the third round. Francisco Cerundolo, Francis Tiafoe, Tommy Paul, Dan Evans, all in the quarter with Felix, as well as Stefanos Tsitsipas, Dominic Thiem, Kyle Edmund. Wow, what a first round matchup he got between two guys who used to be at the top of the game. Pretty sad, honestly. But you got to take Dominic Thiem as the favorite there. Getting a wild card. But then they got to play Stefanos Tsitsipas. So that's a tough ask. Taylor Fritz in the bottom quarter. Number 8 seed. We got Mirmir Kecmanovic. We got a guy, Dennis Shapovalov, who's looking for some form for sure. We got Cam Norrie, Alex Demonauer, Yuri Lehechka, Botic van de Zandschulp, who went out rough in the Munich final, served for it 3 times, I think, as you guys probably saw, then lost his mind afterwards, as is understandable. I would have lost my mind probably much before he did. And then they're in the bottom quarter there with Daniil Medvedev and Andy Murray, who's still just trucking along, kind of. He's just trucking along, kind of floating in that ranking zone of 60 to 40. Can't get high enough to get seeded yet. So he's still grinding. So yeah, there's the ATP draw with no Nadal, no Djokovic, and that is the story really. It's no Nadal, no Djokovic, and are they going to be ready for the French Open? That's the really big story, obviously. But we'll see if, what would you put the odds? On PointsBet, what would you put the odds of Carlos winning this week? To me, pretty high. He seems rested. He seemed energized. He seemed, if he plays the way he wants to play, he's like, there's not really many players who can hang with him right now, which is crazy again. Is he 20 yet? Is he 20? I don't know. Let's go to the WTA draw now. Looking at the top, Iga Swiatek, you already know it. She's the number 1 seed forever. I wonder what her total weeks are at now. It's just been super long. She could play Grab Her. Her name is literally Grab Her. Okay, that match is going on right now versus Tomova. Tanya Maria versus Pera, 28th seed. Who else is in that top? Alexandrova. Bianca Andreescu is in the top there, 23 seed. Our girl's back on the clay after injuring her ankle. We saw her in Vancouver kind of briefly, and she's back in action, which is great to see. She'll be playing Wang in the second round. There it is. Elena Rybakina, I think in the same quarter. Yes, in the same quarter as Iga Swiatek. So that's big time matchup. If that were to happen in the quarterfinals, obviously, there's that kind of group of 3 WTA players who are the queens of the court right now. Swiatek, Sabalenka, and Rybakina. So that would be an amazing matchup. We'll see if that happens. Pegula, starting off the second quarter, Buskova in there, Trevisan, Azarenka, Kurmentova, Potapova, Jill Teichmann, and Daria Kasatkina rounding off the second quarter. Coco Gauff, the bottom half, third quarter. She could play Kai Kanepi or Barillo Escoruela going into a third set there. We got Badosa, 26. Wow, her ranking has dropped like a rock this year. 26 seed. Donna Vekic up to 20 seed. She's rising up the rankings. We got Maria Sakkari there. Samsonova, Ostapenko, Begu, Rogers, Caroline Garcia also there. Or is that I'm all confused now. That's got to be another quarter. I don't know. Sabalenka there at the bottom. So yeah, Great talent, as always, in the WTA draw. We're going to see how it progresses along. We got Rebecca Marino winning her first round. She'll be play Elise Mertens in the next round there. Who else did we miss in the first round playing? I think some other Canadians potentially. Bouchard playing Yastremska. I'm not sure if she's already played yet, if these are updated. But that is the WTA draw, and it's a good one. So right now we're coming into a stage here where it's pretty clear that obviously Swiatek back on the clay is going to be the favorite at every tournament on the women's side. But there are obviously girls like Rybakina and Sabalenka who feel like they can beat her because they have beaten her. I think both multiple times in 2023. This is a different clay surface though. The clay, Swiatek loves the clay, so we'll see how much damage they can actually do to her. Another tournament, another opportunity. We got Carlitos going to reassert his dominance again. I'm excited to see him play, bounce around the court, do his thing, and we'll see if anyone can stop him. So that's kind of a high level, high overarching view of the Madrid draws. Let me know what your thoughts are of the matchups, and we will see you next time here on The Slice. Thanks for watching.